afternoon, you guys. Ras out here in Singapore. Thank you so much for joining me on the Night Out podcast. You know what? It's been quite the journey so far. I keep looking back, all the memories that keep popping up, and I can't believe that I've got so many posts on my page. Can't believe that there were so many different things that I have witnessed and been a part of. So many different memories. It's been really, really great. And it's between, the memories, the archived memories that come up from Instagram, and also the memories that pop up on Facebook. So I'm able to go back and see the things that I was doing, the kinds of content I was posting. I forgot how much food stuff I used to post on my website, sorry, not website, on Facebook, and how much hair stuff I used to post on Facebook as well. And now that baby girl has her own Instagram page, I have been posting them there instead. I've been trying to take them down and put them there so that there's a little bit of a continuity there as well. So she has her own brand coming up, right? So this is what I've been trying to do, going back through things that I've been seeing, and then as I come up with new content, it's coming from the things that I experience now. So some of it is influenced by old stuff, some of it's influenced by new stuff. Either way, I'm able to create something and tell you how I feel about it now, because I've always been one of those people that feels like, if I read one of those page a day inspirational things, I know that in a year, if I come back to the same page, I will probably feel differently about the quote, which is why I do the daily dose the way that I do it. It's why I do, post content the way that I do. It's how I feel about things now. Every time I post something, it's not brand new information, but it's a different way of seeing things. And a lot of times it stems from the same literature that I read growing up, the same songs that I've listened to growing up. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's, the fact that it's a little bit more maturity now. The wisdom is coming out of my hair. I'm able to give a new spin on things, not because I'm looking for a new angle, but because I feel differently about it. And this is one of those things. The quote that I'm about to read to you is a concept that I believe firmly in, but sometimes you need it to come out of somebody else's mouth, or a quote on somebody else's page, for it to kind of sink in and say, you know what, yeah, that's exactly how it should be. And I wasn't sure how to explain it until I read it the way that it was. So I'm going to read this real quick. It's by a girl named Zaina on a page called Peach Essence Weddings. And it says, my mom asked my dad what he would do if she ever got plastic surgery. And my dad said, if you ever feel like you have to change something about yourself while being with me, then I have failed as a husband and a man for not making you feel more than enough as you are. Now, that's something I really, really appreciate, because a lot of times we unconsciously say things that affect our partners, and we don't always make the effort to make sure that they understand where we're coming from. Sometimes it's to alleviate something that we're feeling inside, and sometimes they take it upon themselves. They make it personal. They take it personally, and it affects them instead. I've been, in situations like that myself, and I've talked about this plenty of times in other episodes. The person you are when you're single, right? You're empowered. You feel good about yourself. You dress the way you want. You go where you want. You eat where you want. We hang out with wherever the people that we feel like hanging out with, and there is nothing to tell us otherwise. But when we get into a relationship, suddenly we feel like we owe our lives to the other person. We have to abide by what the other person can and can't take as, feedback or constructive criticism. Our behavior changes because it's triggering for them based on previous experiences. Everything changes. And for some reason, we take comments to heart because suddenly we're expecting that person to stay with us forever, and we're worried that anything that maybe triggers them or reminds them of a past flame that burned them somehow, we're afraid that they will leave us. So you can take the most confident person in the universe, put them together with somebody who is having insecurity trouble, that is trying really hard to find sure footing in their own lives, and because of comments that they pass, suddenly we feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not enough for this particular person. And maybe that would be the end of my ability to please somebody, because if I can't please this one person, then what am I doing? A lot of times it becomes, for example, my ex-husband, right? I thought I was great. I thought I was beautiful, and I had found my own, walk and talk and way of dressing. And he would tell me that I was beautiful, and he felt that, I was really intelligent. And he was so lucky to have someone as intelligent as me. And then it would come down to situations where I wouldn't make the same decision he would, because he comes from a different background and so do I. He's street smart, I'm book smart. I'm still working on the street part of it, right? So if I make a mistake and he assumes it to be something that I should have been able to figure out, it should have been common sense, he will say things like, oh my God, why don't you have the common sense to do this? Why, you're so stupid. Why would you even think to do it this way? Why wouldn't you do it the other way? Why wouldn't you consider this? Why wouldn't you? And the way he would come at me would make me feel like less of a person, not as smart as I know I am. And it's not encouraging for me to be able to figure out, okay, well, if it's a mistake I made, what else should I be considering going forward so I don't make the same mistake? It was on me to figure that out. And it wasn't just decisions that I made. It was how I parented the kids, how I, decided to feed them healthy food instead of fast food all the time, mostly because I couldn't afford it. I decided to start cooking at home. And then it became stuff like, oh, well, why don't you wear it like this? And why don't you let me dress you one time? I bet you I could dress you better than you do right now. And then it would be, look at this girl, she's so sexy. Look at this magazine. Look at how she holds herself. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not built like that. So if that's the thing you're attracted to, there's no way that I could ever be that for you. And I started beating myself up, which is something within my control, but it was influenced by the way he spoke to me constantly. So I'm telling you right now, the fact that this young man in this relationship is able to say, hey, if I've ever made you feel like you're not perfect the way that you are and that you feel like you need to get plastic surgery to feel more beautiful, then I'm not doing my job as a man, really hit home for me. I've had a couple of people in my life that have been talking about their spouses to keep things exciting, what they want to try and what they want to pick up and what they want to buy and what they want to, dress up as or what they want to delve into or discover more of. And I get that. But it should be a mutual thing, not because you're being guilted into doing something you're not really sure of or you've never done before. And it should never be something where you're trying to change who you naturally are in order to please somebody else. That should be a 50-50 thing. They should come towards you and you should come towards them, not you go all the way to where they want to be and fulfill their every need, because then they don't feel the need to come towards you ever to ask what you need, what you want. So in that effort, in this vein of thinking, I think this quote was beautiful and it summed up everything that I ever wanted to hear from anybody. It's something I want you to be able to say for yourself. If I ever feel like I am less than a person or that I have to change something about myself in order to please you, I need to double check this relationship. I need to check in on what it is that you're asking me to do. I need to verify if you really don't think that I'm good enough this way. And if it's one of those, deal breakers, I hate that word, by the way, deal breakers where you would walk away from me because I don't measure up the way you want me to. I want someone who wants to grow with me. I want someone who wants to encourage me to be better than I was yesterday, but not at the expense of my self-esteem. If it's something that they think that I could learn, that they're willing to teach me, brilliant. But don't ever put me down for something I'm not capable of doing or I've never had the chance to discover by myself simply because you had the experience of the discovery in your lifetime and I have not. If you want to encourage me to go towards your level of understanding, help me discover my own curiosity about the subject. Help inspire me to follow the curiosity and get to that place where you are, the level of mastery that you're at. You understand? So these are the things that I really want to drive home when I teach my clients. I had a client recently who was saying, you know what? I don't feel like enough of this particular gender because I am trapped in this body. I don't feel like myself in this body, but what can you do within this body? Because I guarantee you, the minute you start changing things, it will never be quite your perception of what it should be. So before you go under the knife, before you decide you want a sex change operation or to fix your nose or to fix your eyes or to fix your hair, I need you to start falling in love with who you are at the moment. I understand gender-wise, you can be trapped in a body and feel like you're not that particular gender. But there have been plenty of people who dress more masculine even though they're in a feminine body, or dress more feminine even though they're in a masculine body. And they found a way to meld the two. Because the minute you start cutting away at your physical body, it becomes a process of, okay, well, when is enough enough? When am I completely comfortable? Because unfortunately, even if you were to buy clothes, there are sometimes you have to go back and get alterations done because the clothing off the rack doesn't fit you the way you want it to. You understand what I'm saying? So for you to find some people in your life, and I say people because it shouldn't just be your spouse, it should be your friends, it should be your family members. You should have a tribe of people around you who are ready to remind you that you are enough as you are, that you can improve yourself, but right now where you are at this moment in time and space, you are good, you are great, you are enough. And you can always add on to it, but you should never feel like someone's taking away from that. Someone's trying to diminish who you are at the moment. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. I want you to feel like you're enough. I never want you to feel like there's something wrong with you, mostly because that comes from an outside opinion. I thought I was beautiful until somebody started making fun of my nose and somebody started pointing out that my nose was actually crooked. And I started thinking, oh my gosh, I started noticing it. Whereas all this time I never noticed it. For the longest time, I don't know where the mole above my lip came from. It's been there for as long as I can remember. But if I do go back to my baby pictures, it wasn't there, right? So at some point it popped up, but I never noticed it as something to be good or bad. I just kind of accepted it as it was, and it just became part of my face. I can't imagine my face without it. I've had colleagues that I work with that went and decided, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this nose. Everyone keeps telling me about my nose. I want to fix my nose. But then guess what? They adjusted the nose to the perfect type of nose, but forgot their nose fits their eyes fit the way their nose was. It no longer fits the way their nose is at the moment. And so she had to go back and adjust that next. And I feel badly because now it's going to be this adjustment against this adjustment against this adjustment. And I'm hoping at some point she learns to fall in love with her life and fall in love with her body and fall in love with her face just the way it is. Or it's going to be a continuous nip and tuck episode. And I feel badly for them, right? Because not enough people have told them that they're beautiful the way they are. I don't want to change much about myself. I want to be stronger than I was yesterday. I would like to pack on a little bit more weight because I feel stronger when I have a little bit more weight. It's not because anyone's ever told me that I'm too skinny. I feel like I can't carry my weight well, and I can't carry my energy throughout the day well unless I have a little bit more weight on me. So I feel good about that. And that's not about eating a bunch of food and getting fat. It's about building my stamina and building the muscle tone in my body. So I feel like as a mom, no matter what my age is, I can keep up with my kid. So those kinds of things come from me. Not because a magazine said so, not because, oh my God, J-Lo is the standard or whatever. It's not even like that. It's more about how do I feel in the morning when I get up? And how do I feel in the morning when I get up after a day of where I was able to get myself into gear and actually work out for a day. I sleep better. My energy is better regulated throughout the day. I'm in a better mood when I wake up in the morning. I feel more accomplished during the day once I've actually worked out. So these are the things that I'm trying to work on for myself, by myself. Not because anyone said anything to me, but because I know that this is how I regulate. This is my body and my energy and how I manage myself. Now, whether somebody comes along in the future and decides to marry me or decides to date me or whatever, I'm hoping that I can maintain this level of confidence and level up rather than adjust myself down to fit what it is that they need, or adjust myself outside of my comfort zone or my ideas or my values in order to please another person. Now, I've done it a couple of times before, I'm not going to lie, but I'm hoping that I've learned enough throughout my life that I can stand my ground and say, nope, not today, because I like myself the way that I am. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I gotta say, that quote, freaking fantastic. I want to read it again, you guys. My mom asked my dad what he would do if she ever got plastic surgery. And my dad said, if you ever feel like you have to change something about yourself while being with me, then I have failed as a husband and a man for not making you feel more than enough as you are. My whole job, the only reason I even have a job, is because I'm here trying to teach you guys that there's nothing wrong with you. You've adjusted the best way you know how, and you've adapted your coping mechanisms to suit the world that you live in. And it's because there isn't enough support and enough attention or enough love in your life that you've decided that this is the best way that you can manage your day to day. But I'm here to tell you different. You have this dream inside you for a reason. You have this need to, spread love and be friendly and be bold and outgoing for a reason. You have these urges for a reason. And the more you deny them, the more difficult it gets to manage the life around you. And I don't want you to feel stifled or stuck ever. So I'm here teaching you how you can stand your ground and feel proud of the person that you are as you are while you level up. It is possible to feel content with who you are and still want to level up because you want that for yourself. So as you manage your way through this life, I'm here to support, I'm here to serve. You need something, let me know how I can serve better. Let me know what else you might need help with, and I will do my best to serve. And in the meantime, you guys, take it easy on yourself. Give yourself the grace to evolve the way you need to, naturally. A progression rather than this cut and that change and this abrupt stop, because it doesn't work well for you. You need to grow into every change. So give yourself the grace to grow. And I hope you find love and happiness and peace in this lifetime. I love you guys. I'll catch you soon. Bye.